Hello everybody, hello, I'm Matthew Street. Welcome to my channel. So happy you're all here. And folks, I'm really excited. I know I'm a few days late with this since John's birthday was this past Friday, October 9th. And as I am taping this video, it is Monday the 12th of October. But finally, yesterday, Sunday, thank goodness that Amazon travels on Sundays because I received my special package here. Yes, folks, this is the box it came in. It's already been opened. I've already listened to this. So it's not really an unboxing per se, but I had to do it. I had to make a video talking about this beautiful new set. John Lennon, Gimme Some Truth. This is the Deluxe 2 CD edition. I've left in the shrink wrap. I was able to do a little slicing by keeping the shrink wrap on, only because I want to get a plastic bag eventually. Maybe I'll just use one of those record sleeve clear record bags and put it in, but I want to protect this. There's the side. I know other people have received this already, folks. They've already talked about it, but I just felt compelled to do it because I have to tell you how it touched me and how it affected me when I was able to listen to this set and what it means to me. And I just felt, well, other people have already talked about it, but I wanted to share my take on it. So that's how it comes in a beautiful little box like this. Okay. And then you have two items that slip out. And here's what they look like. You have the book here, and then where the CDs and other memorabilia are located in here. So we'll look at this first. And again, beautiful, beautiful set in gold, black and white images, but with this gold highlight, which is throughout the whole packaging. So the design is beautiful. They took a picture of John that's been touched up. In the original picture of this, Yoko is right behind him here. You can almost see her face, like right behind where his image would be. And they've airbrushed all that out where Yoko was. They've made it all without any distractions with this light gray and just John's profile. So they did a beautiful job on designing this, on airbrushing out the background imagery and just having John like that. So that's really nice. And again, inside you have the two CDs right here. You got a postcard, number 1, John's note to the Queen returning his MBE. Postcard number 2, John and Yoko being interviewed by the press. Gimme Some Truth bumper sticker. You got a nice poster of John, really nice design on one side. Gimme Some Truth. Big, giant size poster. Again, using the color theme of black. You know, black and white imagery with the gold. And on the other side, the Bed In for Peace, again with gold highlights. You can't really make it out, but certain notepads, pens, and microphones that the press are holding have gold highlights on them. I don't know if that comes through or not. But a very beautiful poster. And again, so nice that I don't think I'm going to hang it up. And then in this little sleeve right here is the Blu-ray audio with Dolby Atmos and all that good stuff, which I probably won't listen to right away since I don't have a system to listen to that. And then you get this beautiful book, folks. Again, very similar to the outer box with this on the front, songs on the back. And again, can't go through the whole book with you folks, but gold end pages and front pages. But then just some beautiful imagery all about the credits of recording this. There's a chapter on each song, and then here it shows every song, all the credits, who played on it, when it was recorded. There's the credits, some pictures. War is Over if you want it. Every song gets their own page or two with John talking about each song with some great images. You know what I liked about this picture when I saw this one? You know those old time places that you used to see back in the day where you could go and put on old Civil War or Native American or Davy Crockett clothes and get an old time picture of yourself taken. Well, there's numerous places you can get that done, but what surprised me, being from Massachusetts, is that this picture, John was in Stockbridge, Massachusetts with Yoko when he had this done. And I've been to Stockbridge, Massachusetts many times, so it kind of warmed my heart a little bit to hear that John was there and took this silly picture. So I thought that was kind of cool. But yeah, chapter on each song. John and Yoko in Egypt, by the pyramids and the Great Sphinx. Picture of Yoko. Nice Polaroids of John with Julian and Sean. Again, I can't go through the whole thing because I want to talk about the meat and potatoes of this thing, folks. Just some great images of John. You know, some pictures are common, some pictures I've never seen before, handwritten lyrics. Oh, the beautiful picture of John and Elton John at Madison Square Garden in November '74. This is a really kind of cool picture. I've never seen anything like this. It's John with May Pang, with Julian, and then a security guard from, I think, Disney. And look who's with them, Cynthia. They're all together. I've never ever seen an image where after they were divorced, where John is just hanging out with Cynthia. I mean, maybe I'm out of the loop or something, but I never saw anything like that before. To see a picture of Cynthia and Julian with John and May Pang just kind of blew my mind a little bit. I don't know what you think about it. I had never seen anything like that before. Great images. Madison Square Garden, one-to-one concert. Again, I'm just flipping through a few, folks, because I want to talk about this a little bit. Nice highlighted picture with George at the Imagine Sessions. Just a great, fabulous book. There's so much to read in here. I haven't even scratched the surface reading all the material in here about each song and John's thoughts on them and the credits. There's just a lot to read. And I always love this picture of John in Bermuda with Sean. And the reason it really means a lot to me is because I've been to this exact spot in Bermuda with Mrs. Street several years ago. We've been to Bermuda twice. And I have to say, both times I go, I make sure I do my research and know all the spots where John hung out for his summer of 1980 there. And I visited them all. And one of the fun spots to go to was this little point here, where you can stand in the exact spot where John stood here, and that little like island of rocks in the back is still right there. It still looks the same. This little cove right here is still there where you see people swimming, and I've been to that exact spot, so it means a lot to me. And it's something, if you ever get a chance to go to Bermuda, try to do a John Lennon tour. You can go to the Botanical Gardens where he saw the double fantasy flower growing, and it's just a beautiful place to be and know that John was spent many wonderful times there in the island of Bermuda. So I highly recommend doing that. Great picture here, John and Yoko. So it's a beautiful package, folks, and I highly recommend getting this. Now, if you saw my video back a while when I talked about this coming about, I did a video talking about the 2 Lennon releases coming out October 9th. One being this one, John Lennon, Gimme Some Truth, the total ultimate remixes. And then I talked to you about Gem Records Celebrates John Lennon, the tribute album that also came out this past Friday. And as soon as my vinyl comes in, I'm waiting for the beautiful limited edition red vinyl to come in so I can talk about that. And I want to do a full review of that because that's a wonderful album as well. And a little hint, folks, give you a little heads up here before it's too late. I hear the red vinyl on the Gem Records Celebrates John Lennon is almost sold out. So get it while you can. Here's your hint to go do it. I highly recommend it. It's a great album. And wait till you hear my review about it. I have nothing but rave positive things to say about it. But let's get back to this. So when I talked about these two coming out, I did say I was excited about this. I was pumped up. I know there were some people out there that were negative, putting it down a little bit and saying it was kind of a, you know, not needed and stuff. I was not like that. From the beginning, I was excited for this and happy. And the reason is because I just felt the significance of John's 80th birthday. 40 years he was with us, and it's been 40 years since he was gone. I really felt something needed to be done to mark that occasion, to signify that milestone. And so I'm so happy Yoko, along with Sean, got together and decided to put this out for the fans. I think it was the right thing to do, and especially for newer fans, they're going to love this, because what they've done with the sound on this is phenomenal, and it's really going to attract younger listeners in my mind, because they've really made the songs more accessible, in my opinion, and I'll tell you about that in a minute. But I'm so happy it came out, and I feel it was definitely relevant to put this out. Very important. Now, the songs. You get 36 songs over 2 discs. What they've basically done, folks, is totally remix them. Now, several years ago, I want to say it was 2010, but I could be off on this, folks. I think it could even be further back than that. Do you remember several years ago, at least a decade or more ago, they put out John Lennon's albums remixed? Like I Have Plastic Ono Band, Imagine, Mind Games. They were totally remixed. I have to say, I loved those reissues. I thought they were fabulous. I'm going to be honest with you. A lot of John's releases, the original releases, I was never totally happy with the mixes on them. On many of his early recordings, I thought his mixes sounded a little bit cheesy, especially on Mind Games and on Walls and Bridges. I loved the albums. I loved the songs, what John was singing about and the instrumentation and all that, but I never was happy with the mixes. I always felt that the mixes were a little bit too dated for the times, if you get my drift. But when they did the remixed releases several years ago, for me that changed. It really gave me a whole new respect and appreciation for what John recorded. From Plastic Ono Band right up through his Double Fantasy and Milk and Honey stuff, I really felt when they made those releases, it was okay in my book. I said, yeah, we needed these remixes. Well, folks, I am more excited now than ever before, because I feel these remixes, ultimate remixes, go head and shoulders above even the last set of remixes. And now this gives me hope. Now that Imagine's out there remixed, and we have rumors, and you can see it in the back of the book here, it talks about Plastic Ono Band being, John Lennon Plastic Ono Band being released, Super Ultimate Remix. We need them all, folks, done this way. We need all John's albums remixed, ultimate remixes, done this way. And I'm going to tell you, if they do that, it's going to knock it out of the park for John, because people are going to flock to his music. Young people are going to flock to it. Older fans are going to love it and crave it, because, folks, what they've done with the sound on this is phenomenal. Nothing short of phenomenal what these things sound like. They've cleaned them up. They've made them crisper, fuller. It's hard to find superlatives for this. And John's voice, it's been overspoken about, but it's so true. John never really cared for his voice, believe it or not, crazy as that sounds. He always wanted to lather it up with special effects, or bring the other instruments or voices in the mix up louder to kind of bury him into it a little bit. That's just what he wanted. Remember when he was with the Beatles way back in the old days? Hey, yeah, as soon as they came up with double tracking, I told George Martin, I'll have nothing else but that. Double track me all the way. That's what I want, double tracking. He really wanted to always change his voice a little bit, his singing voice. And that's a shame that he felt, either insecure about it or not confident enough with it, that he felt he needed to alter it a little bit. And although it wasn't so extremely altered that it destroyed his solo albums for me, but I always felt the mixes were a little bit off, even from day one, although I love his music. But now, folks, they've done it. They've brought John's voice out. They've peeled away all the lacquer and gloss and sound effects and changes and whatever you want to call it. I'm no expert on this technical stuff, but whatever he did to his voice to bury it before, they've peeled that all away, and they've really brought John to the forefront, and that's the way it should be. He sounds great. He sounds more natural on these recordings. He sounds like he's right in the room with you. And I want to highlight a few that really jumped out at me. I'm listening in the car, driving around one day at work, and fortunately I work in a job where I drive distances and I can listen to music for a long period of time. And I got through both these CDs a couple of times, so I think I have a good handle on what I'm talking about here. Now, I didn't notice as big a change on the early stuff, like Plastic Ono Band, Imagine, and a little bit the Angela. I'll talk about Angela in a minute on Sometime New York City, because those were kind of stripped down recordings or not as glossy from the beginning, especially Plastic Ono Band, but certainly Imagine was a little more produced, but not overly done. When you get to Mind Games, Walls and Bridges, Rock and Roll, some of the Double Fantasy stuff, it was a little bit overproduced in my opinion. So the early stuff, yeah, it sounds great, it sounds fuller, crisper, John's voice is right in your face and it's beautiful. But the big changes for me were from 72 afterwards on this. Wow, those hit me like a ton of bricks. And I'll start with Angela. I've never been a fan of Sometime in New York City, but when I heard Angela, I was listening to, I didn't know, I was just listening as the songs were coming out. When it came out, I was like, what's that? Oh, that's that Angela. I don't know what they did to it, folks. I don't know if they brought John's voice up more, with Yoko's or what. I don't know what. I got to really look into what the big difference was before, but it just sounds like a better song to me. I never really took notice of Angela before, and now it jumped out at me like, wow, that's a pretty good song. I like that. I wish New York City was on here, but it's not. I love that. That's my favorite song on the album. Wish it was. But Angela sounded better to me. I said, wow, if they do the whole Sometime in New York City album with that kind of remix, really making all the drums fuller and the guitars and John's voice, maybe I'll have a change of heart about Sometime in New York City, because right now it's down near the bottom of my least favorite John albums. But wow, Angela gave me a new respect for what they can do with that album. And if they do it someday, fingers crossed they do, I'll be all over it. The Mind Game stuff sounds 10 times better. It just sounds it's not as overproduced anymore, and it just sounds natural and clean and wonderful. The one that really hit me though was the rock and roll stuff. And I know there's only 2 songs on here. Oh, let me just say quick, Walls and Bridges, same thing as Mind Games. It just sounds so much better. Songs like Scared and Whatever Gets You Through the Night. It seems like John's voice is brought up a little more with Elton's, so you can hear him better. Great stuff. I just love it. But the stuff that hit me was rock and roll. Stand By Me and Angel Baby. Folks, I'm not ashamed to say, I'm in the car and Angel Baby came on and I was like, my chin was on my chest. I was like, I couldn't believe how great they made that song sound. It sounded fabulous. It sounded so good that I started to get a little bit welling up in my eye. I'm not going to fib and call me a big baby, whatever you want to call me. But I'm driving along and the emotion just hit me after going through the whole album up to that point and hearing Angel Baby come on. It just hit me. I was like, my God, this man was a genius. This man was just, he knows how to touch your emotions. He knows how to hit you hard. And he did. He did it again in 2020 with me. Angel Baby came on and I was floored. And the same thing with Stand By Me. I've never heard Stand By Me sound so good. Even the remix that was done several years ago, this was so much better. And you know what I say? I've always liked the rock and roll album, with the remix, especially from several years ago. But if they do a deluxe package of the rock and roll album like this, and with those kind of remixes like they did on Stand By Me and Angel Baby, folks, I think everybody out there is going to fall in love with the rock and roll album. You're going to finally, those you naysayers are going to finally see how good that album is. Because if they do that, I say that there's no stopping them. They can put out any John, Sometime in New York City, rock and roll, they can do them all. Mind Games, deluxe ultimate remix packages for every John album. They've got to do it because the sound of these are so good and so beautiful that if they do deluxe packages for every album, it's going to sell. People are going to want it. Younger people are going to crave it and desire it. I'm telling you, these mixes sound that good. Okay, so there's rock and roll. The double fantasy stuff sounds better. Not as changed like the drastic change that was done, I think, in 2010 with Double Fantasy Stripped, which I like Double Fantasy Stripped. I thought that's what it needed. It needed to be stripped down and shave some of that gloss, so early 80s production off of it, and they did so. But here they did it better. They did it even better because they've taken some of the gloss off those double fantasy tracks, but they've kept the essence to them there. The spirit and essence is there. John's voice is right up front now, and they sound wonderful. You're gonna love that. And I gotta give them credit. They did a great job with the Milk and Honey tracks. Nobody Told Me sounds better than ever. I'm Stepping Out is so rocky now and just bombastic. It just sounds great. And let me say, Grow Old With Me, my wedding song, me and Mrs. Street, May of 1985. We were walking down the aisle to Grow Old With Me. The people of the church played it and sang it, note for note. It sounded beautiful. That will always be our song forever. This is the best version you're going to get of Grow Old With Me ever, right here. John's voice, for a little demo cassette, which sounded kind of cheesy and crappy back in the day on the Milk and Honey album, albeit it's a beautiful song. Folks, his voice sounds better here on that. They've cleaned it up somehow, maybe with new technology. They've got the George Martin arranged strings on it. They've done like a mashup. They've taken a couple of different versions of Grow Old With Me, and they've kind of Frankenstein them together to make a wonderful, beautiful recording. You're not going to get it any better than this, folks. You've got to hear it. It's fabulous. The emotion hit me again with that one. I'm near the end of the album now, and that comes on, and I almost lost it. Beautiful, beautiful. So, folks, I don't want to belabor this too much. I just wanted to give you my excitement over this and tell you it's worth it. If you don't want to get this, if you don't want to get this deluxe Ultimate Mixes set with the 2 CDs, the book, and all the paraphernalia, there's a double CD set out there, which is very reasonable, very, very reasonable, and you're getting all the same things except for the little extras and paraphernalia in the book. So if you don't need that, you just want the music, it's reasonably priced, you can get that. Folks, do it. I'm telling you, this thing is worth it. It's beautiful. The man's right here. He's here. His spirit is with us, folks. He's been gone so long, but he is here with us. His music carries us through the tough times. His music will carry you through the down times. His music will lift you up. His music will give you hope. And with these new mixes, folks, you're going to believe it. You're going to know it, and you're going to see it. So do it right now. Get it. Whatever configuration you have to get it right now. I highly, highly recommend this. This is one of the best releases of 2020. Terrible year we've had, but this makes it better right here. Do it. Love you all. Bless you. Bye-bye.